Well, under the Republican plan, the checks would disappear completely. Now, we heard from Maryland Republican Congressman Andy.
We finally have some breaking news around the fourth stimulus check, and now they've released a new announcement on the United States economy. Americans are finally ready to see the financial relief at the grocery store and gas stations. But lawmakers are insisting that the government set aside more stimulus for retirees and seniors, and I definitely agree because stimulus payments are necessary. Many lawmakers and economists are looking at Joe Biden's sweeping stimulus package and its impact on the country. The American Rescue Plan Act, which cost a whopping $1.9 trillion, had a slew of provisions tucked into it and help battle the fallout of the crisis and plug holes in the social safety net. One of them is the Lewis Act, and this legislation was meant to shore up the finances of multi-employer pension plans, which are responsible for providing benefits to the retirees. And before the American Rescue Plan was signed into law, many plans were in a financial crisis. Beforehand, the House Education on House Committee and Labor warned that failing plans were unable to help the people who need benefits the most and they're owed to retirees, and that the funding for this program that helped so many Americans was running low. But now, according to the White House, insurance programs are estimated to become insolvent by 2026. It leaves around millions of people without the benefits that they had accrued through their careers. And the White House fact sheet had stated that in the latest cash infusion from the rescue plan, $36 billion went to the Central States Pension Fund, safeguarding 350,000 Teamster workers and retirees, including truck drivers and warehouse workers, from cutting to their benefits. So it's not the only proactive measure that the Biden administration has taken up to shore up American finances when they retire. The president had released a plan to address climate costs, draining retirement funding, and also their savings account. But now the relief in the pension comes to Republicans' potentially eye cuts to security. Social Security, that is, another major social safety net for the elderly and retirees. Social Security is already cash-strapped. So many experts are worried about the future of the program. And also, this Thursday, Chuck Schumer was reelected by his caucus to lead Democrats for a second term. It happened during a private meeting in the Capitol as the caucus chose to keep most of the pre-existing leadership team intact. In the wake of a better-than-expected midterm election, Democrats obtained majority of the House and the Senate. Only Senator Patty Murray of Washington, who will be the president for a while, will not serve on the leadership team anymore, after serving in the number of years, and now it's time for him to retire. But Chuck Schumer, on the other hand, and the rest of the leadership were unanimously elected by the Senate Democratic Caucus to serve again in Congress. The election comes as the party won a slim 2-seat majority over GOP in the 118th Congress, after Warnock held his seat in Congress early this year. This will be the first Congress in which Chuck Schumer will hold the majority again, and where Kamala Harris will be able to step in to break some ties and help Democrats pass the bills they need to pass. For instance, stimulus bills. And also, Democrats re-elected the senators to in top leadership roles, and including Senator Dick Durbin as a majority whip. This year has been defined by the economy as a cycle of record spending. But it appears that record high inflation is not stopping Americans from spending money. Everybody has also caused the CEO of JP Morgan Chase to warn that all this spending is leading to less in Americans' bank accounts. It's a potential sign that a recession might
uncertainty. The legal aid managing attorney says the economic impact payment system wasn't set up with low-income earners in mind.
It's almost as if it's just occurring to the Treasury and IRS as they go along, that not everybody fits the kind of cookie-cutter tax filer with a bank account that they were thinking when they created this.
Local 12 spoke to more than a dozen low-income earners to see whether they have received their stimulus check and a bank account.
So here's the news. The lawmakers are taking $250 per child, capped at $750 for 3 children. Families need to apply to receive it. And the size of the credit and eligibility requirements vary greatly by state. Vermont's $1,000 payment, for example, is reserved for children 5 and under and families earning $125,000 or less. In Massachusetts, existing tax deductions for dependents were converted into two refundable credits. These state tax credits are worth between $180 to $240 per child under 12 for the 2 children in all families. In some states, the credit is non-refundable, which means it can reduce someone's tax liability as low as $0. Taxpayers must file a tax return to receive it. Others, including Vermont, have made it fully refundable, meaning that it can reduce a filer's tax liability below $0. Despite the plans, the bill is yet to be formally proposed and is being negotiated on across both sides of Congress. Folks, we have a ton of good news about the fourth stimulus check and Social Security benefits. Stay tuned because you definitely don't want to miss out on this. Social Security, everybody, provides monthly benefits to millions of retired seniors. Some of those seniors depend on the program for the bulk of their income, and that's proven to be a problematic thing this year in particular. Although Social Security recipients get a generous 5.9% raise going into 2022, at this point the rate of inflation is far outpacing that boost. That means seniors who live mostly on Social Security are losing buying power even at a time when they're sitting on a higher raise. But that's not the only issue with depending heavily on Social Security. In future, Social Security may have to cut benefits to the tune of 20% due to revenue shortfall. That could leave many seniors in the lurch. In the coming years, Social Security expects to owe more in benefits than it collects in revenue, due largely to an anticipated mass exodus of baby boomers from the workforce. The good news is that Social Security has trust funds it can tap to keep up with scheduled benefits. But once those trust funds run out of money, benefits will be cut back on the table. Meanwhile, the Social Security trustees recently released a 2022 report, and it projects that the program's trust funds will run out of money in 2034. From there, Social Security may have to slash benefit income guidelines. But due to the cost of living adjustment, some Louisiana households may see a decrease in SNAP and other benefits, according to the Louisiana Department of Children and Services. This has so far affected millions of people under the Family Independence Temporary Assistance Program and SNAP program as well. State officials have said that these benefits will decrease in January. The cost of living is already increasing every single day. But now, once again, food inflation is outpacing overall inflation. What this means, though, is that SNAP recipients in the state of New York will once again receive more than $100 in their monthly benefits. SNAP has been crucial for many people in New York, and households that are currently at or near the maximum benefit level, which is about $1,000 for a household of 4, will receive SSI payments of at least $100. Benefits will post between December 12th and December 31st. An estimated $234 million in federal funding will be infused into New York's economy as a result of additional benefits. Since January, the program has contributed more than $2 billion into the state's economy, playing a critical role in the state's economic recovery in the wake of the crisis. According to a recent federal survey, SNAP generates up to $1.54 in economic activity for every dollar invested in the program. So, as food prices affected the number of factors, including extreme weather and supply chain complications, it makes it more difficult for the U.S. government to use tactics like raising the rates to moderate food prices. A number of party and refrigerator staples continued to get more expensive last month. The latest data even shows this. Eggs were a staggering 49% more expensive through November, and butter prices also increased by 27%. Overall, grocery and menu prices in November and December continue to go up half a percentage point every single month. So we're only left with one option now. It's for President Biden to do something about this and sending out stimulus payments. Because there is exciting news, the lawmakers have already unveiled a new bill. The bill will fund new programs. They aim to provide more relief to the low income across the country. Support for recurring stimulus is continuing to grow, and as we are seeing more relief being approved around for Americans,